Howth Singing Circle is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, we can't meet together to sing here in the Abbey Tavern as we would normally do. Instead, we've put together this video to commemorate and celebrate our 20 years of singing together. The Howth Singing Circle began its life 20 years ago in the Pier House Bar, now O'Connell's, and was formed as a gathering to sing in memory of local fisherman Brendan Bull Moore. Bull was a larger-than-life character, a widely respected fisherman, a generous and progressive man, and he was a great singer and rouser of any company. A musical light was extinguished in Howth when he died. Some months after his death, Siobhan Moore and Dave Moran gathered Bull's friends together in the Red Herring Bar to sing in his memory. A weekend festival, the Bull's Roar, was held shortly after, and the seeds of Howth Singing Circle were sown.
Oh, my sweet love, come along, you will hear the sweet song, sweet notes of the nightingale sing. You will hear the fond tale of the sweet nightingale as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below, in the valley below. As I went a walking one morning in May, I spied a young couple so fondly did stray. Well, one was a young maid so sweet and so fair, and the other one was a soldier and a brave grenadier. And they kissed so sweet and comforting as they clung to each other. They walked arm in arm along the road like sister and brother. They walked arm in arm along the road till they came to a stream. And they both sat down together, loved to hear the nightingale sing. Well, out of his knapsack he took a fine fiddle, and he played her such a merry tune that you ever did hear. Well, he played her such a merry tune that the valleys did ring. And they both sat down together, loved to hear the nightingale sing. And they kissed so sweet and comforting as they clung to each other. They walked arm in arm along the road like sister and brother. They walked arm in arm along the road till they came to a stream. And they both sat down together, loved to hear the nightingale sing. They come sit you down with your feet on the ground, on the banks where the primroses grow. You will hear the fond tale of the sweet nightingale as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below, in the valley below. Well, soldier, oh soldier, will you marry me? Oh no, said the soldier, however can that be? For I have a wife at home in me own country, and she is the fairest maid that you ever did see. And they kissed so sweet and comforting as they clung to each other. They walked arm in arm along the road like sister and brother. They walked arm in arm along the road till they came to a stream. And they both sat down together, love, to hear the nightingale sing. Oh, I'm off to India for 7 long years, drinking wine and strong whiskey instead of strong beer. And if ever I return again, it will be in the spring. And we'll both sit down together, love, to hear the nightingale sing. And they kissed so sweet and comforting as they clung to each other. They walked arm in arm along the road like sister and brother. They walked arm in arm along the road till they came to a stream. And they both sat down together, love, to hear the nightingale sing. Oh, my sweet love, come along, you will hear the sweet song, sweet notes of the nightingale sing. You will hear the fond tale of the sweet nightingale as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below, in the valley below, in the valley below.
What a great start from the Beau Moore with his unique rendition and mixing of the two Nightingale ballads. And now you know why we named our club magazine The Sweet Nightingale. You can read all the articles in The Sweet Nightingale on our website. His namesake, Siobhan Moore, will give us the next song, The Irish Girl, a song that's usually associated with June Tabor, but Siobhan's rendition is equally unique. In fact, in Howth, on many occasions, we have seen audiences totally spellbound while listening to Siobhan singing this song.
I walked on a northern shore where the sandy words spread on before the ocean's blast. The grass ran like lemmings on the dunes I had, and I thought it meant like grass. We bend in the driving gale, and scarcely pause to think what makes the wind so strong, or if there's a refuge from the driver's flag. And then I heard the saddest song of the Irish girl, the Irish girl. Her eyes through a sparkling red, like raindrops on a laurel when the moon appears. She sang of her sorrow through the stinging spread, through a sweeter brine, the salt of tears. I weep for the loss of a love who's grown brooding now and silent as a standing stone. Two sides of a coin we rolled a matter round, till in time he chose to leave alone his Irish girl, his Irish girl. spoke my name, for it seemed she didn't know me with her song she sang. She said, oh, I know the face, but here's the shame. Though I knew the boy, who knows the man? And I went in my turn for the fool, who never saw the joys that make a blind man smile, seeking his fortune and the brightest jewel is within his reach all the while. His Irish girl, his Irish girl.
Over the years, Howth Singing Circle has performed at many festivals and fundraising events. These have included the annual Sing-a-thon for St. Francis Hospice in Raheny. We have also sung shanties and maritime songs at Howth's annual Blessing of the Boats, the Howth Prawn Festival and the Fingal Flab, and at Dún Laoghary's Vinyl Festival in the Maritime Museum. But it was particularly enjoyable when we sang sea shanties with hundreds of children at the Department of the Environment Green Schools programme in Dún Laoghary last year. The Greenland whale fishery has developed into one of our club anthems, led by Tony Fitzpatrick. Sadly, COVID doesn't allow us all to gather and lustily sing along in the chorus, so Tony will sing with his own concertina accompaniment.
In 1864, on March the 2nd day, a whaling ship from the town of Peterhead to Greenland sailed away, brave boys, to Greenland sailed away. Oh, Greenland is one hell of a place, it's a place that's never green, where there's ice and there's snow and those whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys, the daylight seldom seen. The lookout on the cross tree stood with a spyglass in his hand. There's a whale, there's a whale, there's a bloody great whale, and she blows on every span, brave boys, she blows on every span. Greenland is a hell of a place, it's a place it's never green, where there's ice and there's snow and those whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys, the daylight seldom seen. The captain, he stood on the quarter deck, there was ice all in his eye, saying, take down your oars and heave around, and put your boats to sea, brave boys, and put your boats to sea. Oh, Greenland is a hell of a place, it's a place that's never green, where there's ice and there's snow and the whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys, the daylight seldom seen. We shot our harpoon and the line ran out, and she gave a flourish with her tail. Well, the boat capsized and 10 men were drowned, and we ne'er did catch that whale, brave boys. We ne'er did catch that whale. For Greenland is a hell of a place. It's a place that's never green, where there's ice and there's snow and the whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys, the daylight seldom seen. The losing of those 10 brave men, it grieves my heart full sore, but the losing of that bloody great whale, it grieves me 10 times more, brave boys, it grieves me 10 times more. Greenland is a hell of a place. It's a place that's never green, where there's ice and there's snow and those whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys. The daylight seldom seen.
After Tony Fitzpatrick's rough passage on Greenland waters, we now turn to think of many of the excellent guests that we've had in Hope Singing Circle over the years. One of the most recent but very popular guests was Declan Hoey from Drogheda, and in his visit he was accompanied by many Boynesiders, maintaining the regular and enjoyable connection between Hope and Drogheda. Declan has a wonderful tone and sense of harmony, the latter reflected in his membership of Sunday's Gate Quartet with other local singers. Here, Declan sings Pretty Susan, the Pride of Moyclair, a song that illustrates his exquisite tone and style to their best.
Since first from sea I landed, I had a roving mind. I rambled undaunted, my true love to find. There I met pretty Susan, her cheeks like the rose, and her skin was like the lily fair, or the wildflower that grows. Yes, her skin was like the lily fair, or the wildflower that grows. O'er the long time I courted her, till I wasted my store. Her love turned to hatred, because I was poor. She said, I love another, whose fortune I will share. So begun from pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. Yes, begun from pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. Broken hearted next morning as I roved down the road, I met with pretty Susan and her young man so bold. And as I gazed on her, my heart full of care, I sighed for pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. Yes, I sighed for pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. So now to the ocean I'm resolved for to go. I am bound for the west, my heart full of woe. And it's there I'll find pretty girls with flowers there's none like pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. No, there's none like pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. And the lass said farewell to my dear native shore. On the green hills of Ireland I will ramble no more. And it's when I'm at a distance, unburdened with care, I will sigh for pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair. Yes, I'll sigh for pretty Susan, the pride of Moyclair.
Now, from Moyclair we turn to Armagh via the National Botanic Gardens. The Holt Singing Circle has held many singing walks, one of the most enjoyable of which was at the National Botanic Gardens, where Micheál Quinn sang Dobbin's Flowery Vale. Leonard Dobbin, 1762 to 1844, was a Liberal MP and then High Sheriff for Armagh. He was a wealthy man and he developed what is now Dobbin Street and donated lands by the Ballinahone River to be developed for industrial and recreational purposes, according to the progressive landscaping patterns of the time. Stewart, in his historical memoirs of Armagh, wrote, "To men of contemplative and tranquil minds, who love to listen to the clack of mills alternately swelling and dying on the breeze, and who hear with delight the murmur of descending waters and the choral song of birds, the rural spot must surely appear as a charming retreat. No better man than Micheál Quinn of Mullaban to sing the song and transport us back to that lovely afternoon in the Botanic Gardens."
One evening fair as Phoebus bright, her radiant charms displayed, while Flora in her verdant garb the green field she arrayed. Down yon green grove there I did rove, no cares did me assail, when a pair I spied by the river side, in Dobbin's flowery vale. I sat me down to rest a while beneath yon spreading tree, and the gentle breeze blew softly by, conveying these words to me. Adieu, fair maid, to you, he said, for soon I must set sail, and bid adieu to Armagh and you, and to Dobbin's flowery vale. Forbear these thoughts and cruel words that wound a grieving heart, for is it true that we've met here, alas, so soon to part? Must I alone here sigh and moan to none my grief reveal, but here lament my cause to vent in Dublин's flowery vale. Oh, do not think that you're left alone, or think my love untrue, for it's wheresoever that I'll roam, my thoughts will be on you. There's not a flower in yonder bower, nor meadow, hill, or dale, but will me remind of them made behind in Dublин's flowery vale. Now there's many's the youth has left his home, and has steered for freedom's shore, that now lays in a silent tomb, where the foaming billows roar. Take my advice, do not forsake, or leave me to bewail, but here remain with your own fond dame in Dublин's flowery vale. It was with mutual love they together drew, and they fondly did embrace, whilst the tears like drops of morning dew rolled down each other's face. She tried in vain him to detain, all the while she did bewail. He bade adieu, I withdrew from Dublин's flowery vale.
Micheál Quinn reminds us too of his father, the late Muckle Ned, a man sorely missed throughout the traditional world, and remembered for his singing, his great company, and his wonderful stories that were funny even when heard umpteen times. Muckle Ned was a much-loved guest in Hope. After the Pier House days, the Hope Singing Circle moved to the Sea Angling Club on the West Pier, and we had many happy years there, and this is from where our next recording comes. One of the most memorable singers in the Angling Club was far-famed hurler Jimmy Smith of Ruan, County Clare. Although sadly Clare did not win an All-Ireland in his time, Jimmy was a Millennium All-Star, an award which was commemorated by An Post on a postage stamp. Jimmy was an elegant and cultured player, qualities he brought to his marvellous singing, his whole body physically expressing the song. Jimmy passed away in 2013, but he has left us recordings and his book, In Praise of Heroes, ballads and poems of the GAA. Jimmy was at his best when singing songs of hurling, including The Ballad of Christy Ring and The Lass Who Loved a Hurler. Here he sings Tom Williams' classic ballad in praise of Jimmy's contemporary Nicky Rockard of Wexford, Cuchullin's son.
To me, the best hurler of all time was Ring, and the next best was Rockard. So I keep on now on his memory. He was a good friend of mine. The challenge of an ancient game. Glory, glory to your name. When marsh winds blow, the crowd still can to watch you, gentle hero. In life's long march you made us proud, and many's the voice from out the crowd. Call out your name aloud, aloud, and echo still moaning, and black stairs men, oh, saw you then, still speak of you in awe. On Carnam's Green, where you had been, they tell of what they saw. We watched you on September fields, and lightning was the drive. You were the one Cuchullin's son in 1955. The hand that held the stick of Vash, and the man who led with style and dash. Oh, Carricktull once fell the crash, and Bennett's Bridge and Thurles, and when in later years you beat the devil on that lonely street, you showed us how to take defeat with dignity and courage, and black stairs men, oh, saw you then, still speak of you in awe. On Carnam's Green, where you had been, they tell of what they saw. We watched you on September fields, and lightning was the drive. You were the one Cuchullin's son in 1955. The last parade was sad and slow, the last oration spoken low, and as on green fields long ago, the diamond stood beside you. Old friends that flanked you side by side, and the tears they shed were tears of pride. An ash tree toppled when you died, and scattered seeds at random, and black stairs men, oh, saw you then, still speak of you in awe. On Carnam's Green, where you had been, they tell of what they saw. We watched you on September fields, and lightning was the drive. You were the one Coholland's son in 1955.
Our activities over the years have been many and varied, but one of the most rewarding has been the Young Singer in Residence initiative. Our first appointee was Ruth Clinton from nearby Sutton, who was a regular attendee at our monthly sessions, often with Maeve Meyer, and the two are now members of the highly successful Landless. As Young Singer, Ruth undertook a project to recover obscure women's songs in which women were neither victim nor object. And Ruth's research ended in the pamphlet and recordings entitled This Fearless Maid. A song Ruth sang many times in Howth is The Malahide Fisherman, which commemorates the loss of the Anne of Malahide, which struck the bar of Malahide on the 14th of November 1828. So here is Ruth Clinton singing The Malahide Fisherman.
Your aid I crave, you muses, I pray lend no excuses, but in spite of my confusion, my slender quill do guide, and order proclamation to state the desolation and the woeful lamentation that was heard in Malahide. What caused this lamentation was the loss of 4 brave seamen who in the briny region have lately met their doom. They left many a friend lamenting, their hearts in sorrow rending, to think their days were ending, all in their youth and bloom. They were lads of good behaviour, they always did endeavour, all by their daily labour, their credit for to win, and their names now for to mention. Sure 'tis my intention, were Tim and Michael Gaffney, Pat Dunn and Michael Finn. On the 18th of November, that's as near as I remember, the weather seeming sober, they took their nets and lines, both by their fate's permission, since they got their bread by fishing, and without the least suspicion, on their boat they did combine. On the 19th in the morning, as bright Phoebus was adorning, these lads they were returning all o'er the ebbing tide. Their sails and oars were handling to reach the place of on the bar at Malahide. As the time was drawing nearer to determine those heroes, said Neptune to Boreas, let us raise an awful squall, for their sails they now are bending, their days in number ending. This is the place intended that we will upset their yawl. Then Boreas blew his vengeance, and the seas did rage tremendous, while death his bow was bending, as to the spot they did come. And here our 4 brave fellows did long resist the billows, while Neptune laid their pillows all in watery tune. Now that their days have ended, and their souls from earth ascended, all you that have intended on your great God to call, send up a last petition with full and true contrition, that their souls may gain remission that were lost here in Fingal. They left many a friend bewailing, with agonized feeling, but their tears are unavailing, for now their glass is run. One of them left behind a loving wife and kind, the others tender mothers to bewail a darling son.
From that terrible sea tragedy in Malahide, we travelled to Rin Ogluanach, Fort Larga, Rin in the Waterford Gaeltacht. For many years, Stefan O'Halon and now Dara O'Bwail have hosted our annual Ia Gaelach, where we have enjoyed a wealth of Auroni, Tradisiúnta agus Seannos, and we have also had many wonderful guests, one of the finest being Éadon O'Kelly. Éadon will sing the Macaronics Anam an Auron, or I Am a Young Fellow, which he got from a recording of Daglon de Puer from Old Parish in Gaeltacht na Déise. This recording of songs and singers associated with Waterford was made 10 years ago and is available on Seannos Bio. Éadon says that his version has more or less the same words as Jimmy O'Canavan's, but Éadon sings the Rin tune, Fionn na Rinne.
Oh, I am a young fellow that ran out of my lands and beans. Shan van an vaid na taurok dam baun na spray. I spent my affection on bonded golden store. Stagalus yan nagar golyaning lehing. Well, we made up our minds with each other for to elope. Is go dauring shun kapach gunya mobile store. I met my true lover about the appointed place. She tiring ter chashel their madden defying only. I quickly requested this juvenile jovial dame. Me let go grantas mo chapoch povoiri elame. We being in a hurry, I asked her to mount the mare. She thought she ham corre fan succor go nolum bren. When we reached into Cashel, she asked for a quart of ale. Cair go farshing don capo chais more chait fair. She opened her purse then and asked for a note to change. His ni ragamor Cashel madden go fine only. 'Twas early next morning we started before the train. Eraglon madam goliano contorn our nail. In Waterford City we stopped for our clothes to change. Es fikit agus tahid yegini Wigan May. We embarked with our cow the next day for to sail away. Es yellows mochapoch leus agor to frost and lay. The ship got ready, the weather being fine and fair. Storishamor talov ganeir so gone well. When we marched into London, the police were on the quay. We were on to she scriptures a telegram news owing ye. We soon were detected and each spent a month in jail. No gor tugog harnash go cloen malishing chon our gosh da flame. On the day of our trial, her mother she swore severe. Gonoling and dealing a good ocht on Galer. Her daughter was simple and I was a scheming rake. Escar Wallace a bobbity Wallace on Galer. Well, the court it fell silent, the jury then were charged. His year the dinger evein going hen lera. She showed them the will then her father had last year made. Gorchak shegan nanger on erum goler ferem. When the magistrate read the last will that her father made, oh year der anger on both she rake and hail. She said that I was the most loving and gentle young swain. Snabos she vathered go gorfi hain fengre. Oh, when we were acquitted, my lover and I did embrace. Is the horse good to gun taggart leg hang le grom ich live? He put up an oath and easily got us chained. Is madam gashals gur dir carrig na shore is fared.
Gurav Mahagat Eadon, Vishin Gohiantak. Well, poetry has featured regularly at the Howth Singing Circle, and Paddy Daly, usually the quiet recorder and photographer in the background, is now going to read Pierce McLaughlin's The Old Piece of Rope. Pierce, a well-loved Howth poet, was born in 1917 and died in 1996. He was a fisherman, a committed Republican, and a prolific poet. His verse reflects Howth people and traditions, the natural world and the sea. He died on the fishery research vessel, the Loch Beltra, where he was serving as night watchman. Paddy Daly is a West Cork man, a founding member and a sea or sage of the Howth Singing Circle. He spent most of his working life at sea as a fisherman. He knew Pierce well and understands the totality of Pierce's poem, which also reflects the kindness and generosity of Paddy Daly himself.
A Piece of Old Rope, written by Pierce McLaughlin. An old piece of rope with age you became, disdained by the many, but useful to some. A handy old standby in times of distress, when the new coil gets tangled and kinks in a mess. Sling out the old loose ends and maul it around. It seldom complains of the mud on the ground. There are many who still need the aid of old rope, or the threads it has left in the place that they grow. For some it can use the power of a thread to salvage from nowhere a hope that was dead. A web it has spun by the loss of its hair, from which it can harvest when others despair. An old rope is useful, so cast not aside the piece which may rescue the waif from the tide. It may have strength in the gnarled old twist to defy all the pulling of capstan or wrist. Allow for its age and give it its due. It can't live forever, it's doubtlessly true. The helper of hapless, the garland of hope, the hope of the helpless. Piece of Old Rope.
After Paddy Daly extolling the virtues of a piece of old rope, we turn to memories of the now widely acclaimed Howth Burnsnicht. Siobhan Miller from Pennycook, Midlothian, Scotland, has been a guest at our monthly sessions and was one of the most popular guests at Howth Burnsnicht. So to reflect our Burnsnichts and to capture those atmospheric nights of colour and occasion in a packed Abbey tavern, Siobhan will sing Burns' Green Grow the Rashes O.
There's naught but care in every hand, in every year that passes, oh, what signifies the life, oh man, though it were not for the lassies, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest years that e'er I spent were spent among the lassies, oh. The worldly race may riches chase, and riches may fly them all, and though at last they catch them fast, their hearts can ne'er enjoy them all. Green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest years that e'er I spent were spent among the lassies, oh. Give me a canny must work she classes, oh. Her apprentice hand she tried on man, and then she made the lasses, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh. The sweetest ears that e'er I spent were spent among the lasses, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh. The sweetest ears that e'er I spent were spent among the lasses, oh.
Siobhan's beautiful singing reminds us of the Breton cousins, Loic and Ganel Denis, who were fabulous guests at an early Burns night. Les Deux Sonneurs thrilled the audience with their tunes on Binu and Bombard. Loic is a very talented piper, playing Highland, Border and small pipes, as well as the Breton Binu. He and his wife Patricia Rioux, also an accomplished bagpiper, were part of the fiddle bus to Donegal, and they memorably led the entire company dancing in and out of the Dry Arch Bar in Lahey on our way home to Dublin.
Well, now, from Brittany, we root ourselves firmly back in Fingal, North County Dublin, and the singing of former Fingal Lord Mayor Dave O'Connor. Dave from Ballybockle is renowned for his collection of singing and songs from his own place. He is one of the Fingal mummers who have graced a number of Howth Burns nichts, and he was closely associated with the opening of the Seamus Ennis Centre in Knoll. Dave sings Hannah Healy, the Pride of Howth. Like many of the songs in Dave's repertoire, it is not widely sung, which underlines the value of the contribution Dave has made to preserving Fingal tradition.
You muses nine to my aid incline, and assist my genius whilst I declare my lovesick pain for a beauteous dame, whose killing charms did me ensnare. Sly little Cupid has knocked me stupid, in grief I mourn, for upon my oath my frame's declining, I'm so repining, for Hannah Healy, the pride of Holt. She is tall and slender, both young and tender, she is modest, mild, and so sublime. For education in Erin's nation, there is none to equal this nymph divine. I wish to gain her, but I can't obtain her. I would fondly court her, but still I'm loath, lest I should tease her, or once displease her, sweet Hannah Healy, the pride of Holt. At 17, this maid serene, my heart attracted, I must allow. I taught her surely, a goddess purely, or some bright angel, and that I vow. Still that I languish, my mind's in anguish, a deep decline, it has curbed my growth. None can relieve me, you may believe me, but Hannah Healy, the pride of Holt. In all Olympus, I'm sure no nymph is to equal her that I do admire. Her charming features surpasses nature, alas, she has set my heart on fire. She exceeds Flora and the bright Aurora, and the beauteous Venus from the briny froth. I'm captivated, I do repeat it, by Hannah Healy, the pride of Holt. Each lovely morning young men come swarming to view this charmer taking the air. She is so enchanting, they are all panting to gain her favour, I do declare. But still they're fearful, and in no way cheerful. The greatest hero, you'll find him loath. None dare entreat her or supplicate her, so bright an angel is the pride of Holt. I will stop my writing and my inditing, I see it's useless for me to fret. 1 pound of trouble, or sorrow double, will ne'er atone for 1 ounce of debt. I'll resign courting, and all like sporting, Cupid and Hymen, I'll shun them both. Erase my mind from all female kind, so adieu, sweet Hannah, the pride of Holt.
The Hote Singing Circle has had 2 presidents, the much-loved, beautiful singer Willie O'Connor and Diarmid O'Cahasey. Diarmid's death in December 2020 was a huge loss to the Hote Singing Circle, as it was to Irish traditional music and publishing. A beautiful singer in both Irish and English, his recitations, particularly of Robert Service, were occasions of theatre, enlivened by gestures and exaggerated facial expressions, underpinned by the varying tone and volume of his delivery. To reflect the club's tradition of poetry and recitation, and to pay tribute to someone who gave tremendous service to the Hote Singing Circle from its inception, we now have Diarmid reciting a track taken from his shortly to be released CD.
Now you've heard that Robert Service yarn of the shooting of Dan McGrew. Well, he makes it a bit of highfalutin tale, for it isn't the least bit true. He talks of McGrew, his light of love, the lady that was known as Lou. Why, that lady was most respectable. She was married to Dan McGrew. Now, it was a fearsome night, and we all sat tight in the Malamute saloon, and McGrew was playing a solo twist, and the pianist was playing a tune, and Mrs. McGrew, who was known as Lou, she was darning her old man's socks, while the miners were trying to sell dud mines on samples of quartz and rocks. When out of the air and into the blare of the Malamute saloon came a stranger guy with a watery eye and a nose of deep maroon. Oh, he looked as if he'd been out on a jag for several months or more. His Adam's apple was working a lot, as if his throat was sore from swallowing Klondike whiskey. Oh, it had burned a hole in a can. Oh, I tell you, sir, this stranger was a full to the back teeth man. He ordered a drink, he dashed it down. It seemed to increase his days, as his eyes went wandering round the room till the pianist found his gaze. Now, this pianist, sir, was a high-toned cuss. Oh, he wasn't no small-town jay. He was never known to wash his neck. Oh, but my God, how that man could play. He was playing a Grieg sonata when that swivel-eyed stranger fool just fetched from the wallop behind the lug and took his place on the stool. But we none of us interfered. We waited to hear what that man would do. And Mrs. McGrew, who was known as Lou, she stopped and she stared at him too. For we waited to hear what that man would play, as our tastes ran rather high, and anything less than the classical stuff with us, would never get by. So we held our breaths in silence tense and suffered internal qualms. Would he play us Beethoven, Bach, or Liszt, or hand us a chunk of Brahms? Oh no, 'twas none of these. On the grimy keys he dropped his dirt-stained mitts, and he beat out the air of a ragtime air. Oh, it shattered our dreams to bits. He played 8 bars of that ghastly tune, did that watery-eyed galoot. Oh, and then in a crash like a thunder flash, the guns began to shoot. And we stopped his ragtime rhapsody, pumped him full of lead, reloaded our guns and shot again until that hick was dead. But of all the crew, it was Dan McGrew who never once hit his mark. For though he can drink like a kitchen sink, he shoots like a Boston Clark. 3 of his shots found tender spots in 3 of the boys around, when another one shifted the sheriff's ear, and it hasn't as yet been found. Oh, but the worst of the lot was a raking shot that whizzed by Mrs. McGrew. Oh, and you ought to have heard what that lady said, that lady known as Lou. But the rest of us, we riddled that ragtime boob, well, as anyone ought to do. But he'd be living yet if we had to depend on the shooting of Dan McGrew.
Now we have Niamh Parsons, a member of Howth Singing Circle Committee, as well as a C or Sage, and a stalwart since the founding of the club. Niamh is now going to take us to Teesside with a song written by Bill Caddick. Bill was touring with Magic Lantern in 1974 when he awoke in his van beside a chemical works in Middlesbrough, having dreamt of unicorns. This was the origin of Niamh's song. Niamh is joined by Graham Dunn, a talented musician who has accompanied her in many recordings. And as we listen to Niamh sing, we think of her sister Anne, a regular Howth Singing Circle attendee, and we think of their late mother Maura.
Was traveling north to sing and play for friends that we had never met. Working hard and didn't speak. The sky was grey and threatened wet. Had a dream that I saw unicorns. I dreamed I saw them wild and wide. Their sudden beauty lit the world like a star would light a winter's night. Fiora's love with veins of milk. They danced and pranced and cried aloud. Bright as rainbows round the stars, their eyes were soft and sad and proud. I wept for the wild and dirty world, to whom this beauty now was lost. And I cursed the hungry minds of man that feeds the future with such cost. My head was bowed, my eyes were closed, and in my ears their voices rang, and something touched me deep inside, and in my very soul it sang. We never went away, you always knew that we were here. Remember how to look for us, you'll find we were always near. Raise my eyes to seek them out. The world was empty all around. The rain came tumbling from the sky and drowned all dreams upon the ground. And when they asked me why I wept, like one for whom his dead love mourned, the only answer I could give, I dreamed that there were unicorns. Fiora's love with mains of milk, they danced and pranced and cried aloud. Bright as rainbows round the stars, their eyes were soft and sad and proud.
And now we conclude with The Parting Glass. Originally a Scots song, it was reputedly the country's most popular song until Auld Lang Syne came along. It was included in the Skene manuscript 1615 to 1635, and also David Hurd's Ancient and Modern Scottish Songs 1775. Burns claimed the tune was Good Night and Joy Be With You All. For us in the Holt Singing Circle, it has become our anthem since it was sung first at our first singing session way back 20 years ago. Here we have Brian Doyle, Helen Lahart, Jerry O'Connor and Lawrence Bond to sing The Parting Glass.
Of all the money that e'er I spend, I've spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me.
And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. so fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all.
Of all the comrades that e'er I've had, they are sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I've had, they would wish me one more day to stay.
But as it falls upon my lot that I should rise and you shall not, I will look gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be with you all.
We must thank everybody for watching this video and for all your support for Howth Singing Circle over the years. And we look forward to meeting with you all again in person sometime soon.